February 7th, and I'm calling this meeting of the Wakefield Youth Council into order. Now to take attendance, please say here. James? Here. Nathaniel?
Here.
Present. Thomas?
Here.
William?
Here.
Michaela? Ahmed?
Here.
Madeline said she'd be absent. Maya?
Here.
Sophia? Juliana?
Here.
Olivia?
Here.
Vanessa?
Here.
And Aaron. Do we have any members of the public wishing to speak today? Seeing none. Now we're going to move on to the approval of the January 10th meeting minutes. Thomas, would you like to give us the summary?
Sure, great. So on January 10th, firstly, we had a short presentation from two representatives from TAB training, who are helping us with the active bystander training program that we've sort of been looking into for the past couple months. And then we discussed the financial literacy bill that was being discussed at the State House that day, and agreed that we're going to publish sort of a general statement supporting financial literacy education in schools. We talked about the school culture initiative and sort of mapped out the survey we're going to publish to try to get a sense of what students would like us to address and how we can sort of help going forward. We finalized plans for the Albion Cultural Exchange event, which happened on the 31st, and I believe we're going to talk a bit more about that today. We talked about the Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King celebration that was to be hosted at the Galvin on January 15th, and it did. Talked about the Snow Angels program, heard a bit of liaison presentations. We talked about how the finance working group is sort of finalizing its proposal for the grant, and that was about it.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I second.
I'm going to call down the roll. James?
Yay.
Nathaniel?
Yay.
Myself, yay. Thomas?
Yay.
William?
Yay.
Ahmed?
Yay.
Maya?
Yay.
Juliana?
Yay.
Olivia?
Yay.
And Vanessa?
Yay.
That passes unanimously. All right, now, next on the agenda, we have a liaison presentation from Olivia talking about the police department.
I made a presentation about the new police station because last youth council, Catherine said that might be a good idea to show everyone because the police station isn't necessarily a place everyone goes all the time. So the new building, as I'm sure many of you know, the police station was getting renovated over the past year. It was old and run down, and a lot of changes needed to be made. So the renovation took a little bit, but it's finally done. At the entrance, just looking at the outside, the building has already made noticeable improvements. There is a great memorial to those officers who died while serving. The new entrance, as well as the entirely renovated outside, looks great and brand new. You can see the rock memorial in the bottom, and then the entrances. And the lobby, right when you walk in the station, you can see the lobby in the pictures. You can see the police dispatch, where you speak with officers. Straight ahead when you walk in, there are the police records, and to the left and directly to the right is the entrance door to the fire departments. And in the lobby, there are benches and flyers that people are free to take and learn about the department and different things to register for self-defense classes, etc. Now, there are offices inside. They're very updated and they're organized. You can see Chief Scory's office in the image on the top, and then another office on the bottom. In the bottom left, there's the interview room where people can come in to share information about crimes. And to the right of that is the room where fingerprints are tested. In the bottom left is the records room where all information about people who have been arrested in Wakefield. And above that is the lockers where all evidence is kept before it's examined. In the booking areas, you can see in the bottom, there is where like they take your picture if you're being arrested and then a cell next to it. Then on the right, there are the two computer systems about how they book you in. And then you can see the garage is bigger in the top right. And there's a large conference room with a fresh police logo on it. And there's a break room with a fridge, dishwasher, dishes, etc. And then, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was really insightful. I definitely did not know about the new police building, so I think that was a really great presentation to show us like the inner workings. How recently was the new building opened?
I don't know how recently I met with Chief Scory in like late December. So I can't, but it was like probably November-ish. Yeah, so it's been pretty new.
Is this in the same location as the prior building?
Yeah, it is.
Does anyone have any questions for Olivia? Okay, thank you very much. All right, so our next agenda item is, so I have a brief oral presentation about a meeting that I had with Julie Smith Galvin, talking about the youth council and town council together. So what we discussed kind of the different things that the town council has been working on recently. We discussed the walkability and the bike ped plan that's moving forward after further discussions and changes to the plan were made. And we kind of talked about the importance of multimodal transportation as a whole when it comes to receiving state funding, but also in general to the town, which was really insightful and significant for changes that will be positive changes that will be made to the town. We discussed different ways that the $3 million left in ARPA money for infrastructure, which could be used in various places throughout the town. And we kind of talked about different opportunities in the senior center. And we also talked about advances to the Albion Cultural Exchange building to make it handicap accessible. We also talked about the Environmental Sustainability Committee's climate plan for Wakefield that's in the works. That was also really insightful and significant with those conversations. Then we also briefly touched upon like the different mental health things that the town council has been doing, since that's another thing that I discussed with town administrator Steve Mayo back in the fall. And then on our side, we discussed like school culture and snow angels and also our budget plan. So with that, we kind of talked about the budget breakdown for what we're planning to request from the town council. So under that, we have set for, just pulling up right now. We have set, I believe, $2,000 for Mr. Collins for his role as the Youth Council Civic Engagement Advisor, $250 for outreach supplies, and then $250 for event meeting and initiative supplies for a total of $2,500. And Julie said that she would be able to put that under the town council's plan alongside the other boards and committees that they do that. Julie, do you have anything that you want to say on that?
Just that there is a process to the budget. So that includes essentially what we're doing is, I've requested that money be put into the town council budget. That then goes to, it'll just be discussed as the whole town council. It then gets reviewed by the finance committee. And then it goes to town meeting. So budget is a long process, but we definitely have it in there, as the starting number. And hope that, I think it's very justifiable and I'll be speaking in favor of it with my colleagues. But if anybody does want to get involved, go to the finance committee. It's in what's called the town council budget, which hasn't come up yet. I can let you know when that's coming up. And if you want to kind of follow the process, it would be an interesting process, but
Yeah,
hopefully
definitely.
it goes through.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds great. Yeah, I'd like to, and I'm sure that many of us would like to stay in touch with that.
Sure. So I will keep you posted.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions on that? Okay. So next, do we have any other liaison updates that anyone would like to provide? Yeah, Nathaniel?
So recently, I sent Mr. Tetrell a survey to send out to all Galvin students for interest about the Galvin Green team. So we're going to check it we're going to check it at the beginning of next week to really get a finalized list of everyone who's interested, and then from there we'll start to yeah, then from there, we'll really start up with, yeah, what to do.
That sounds fantastic. Yeah, thank you. Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to say as to liaison updates? So next on our agenda is the financial literacy policy that we discussed at our last meeting. So from the discussion that we had, Catherine and I worked together to formulate a letter that we're planning on sending to Senator Lewis. So I'm going to read that letter out right now, and I printed out copies. Would anyone like paper copies that they can read along with? So does everyone have one that would like one? Okay. So with this letter, once I'm done reading it, we can discuss it and then vote to allow myself to send it on behalf of the Wakefield Youth Council to Senator Lewis's office. And so as to preface, Senator Lewis is our senator in the Massachusetts Senate and also the chairperson of the Joint Committee on Education. All right, so dear Senator Lewis, the Wakefield Youth Council at our January 10th, 2024 meeting favorably discussed the merits of financial literacy education for high school students. Given your leadership as the chairperson of the Joint Committee on Education, we collectively believe that educational opportunities in this field of study should be advanced for students across the Commonwealth in the form of a comprehensive curriculum. Under the current Commonwealth mandated educational framework taught in public schools, financial literacy is not an included component, and yet it serves a valuable position in education due to financial literacy's importance in the 21st century. Upon graduation, many students are thrust into the quote-unquote real world, where they are largely accountable for their own financial decisions. Many students in the Commonwealth feel as though they lack the understanding and background in financial comprehension to responsibly make decisions and prepare for their future. This was a major takeaway from our discussion with our youth counselors, who are all high school or middle school students. Many felt concerned about possessing the knowledge necessary in handling student loans and the forthcoming debt it entails, how to properly and most efficiently manage savings, balance a budget, and do taxes, all of which are central components to young adults' financial lives. Coupled with predatory tactics utilized by companies in order to prey on young adults' financial knowledge vulnerabilities, the need for a comprehensive financial literacy course for high school students is more pressing than ever. A financial literacy course would allow students to not only gain tangible expertise they will call upon for the rest of their lives, but also exercise greater confidence in the financial landscape. From our engagement with school staff as well, many students have chosen to complete the Civic Action Project mandated by Chapter 296 of the Acts of 2018 on a mandated financial literacy curriculum. The Wakefield Youth Council recommends favorable action on the advancement of a financial literacy curriculum for students and likewise providing the resources for professional development to effectively teach this subject. In doing so, the collective futures of the next generation of Commonwealth citizens will thrive as they become more informed and effective at handling the complexities of the financial system. All right, does anyone have anything that they'd like to say as to this letter? Yeah, Ahmed.
So I know I originally brought up the idea to you and Catherine, the day before the hearing, actually. I unfortunately wasn't at the meeting because I was traveling to the hearing on behalf of another organization I work with and on behalf of the Youth Council. I know a lot of people testified very favorably in favor of the financial literacy bill. I don't know, we're taking a different approach to that considering we can't support the bill. But you know, I really do think it's an important topic, and I'm sure Senator Lewis will be happy to hear about the matter.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for bringing this up to us at our last meeting. Yeah, thank you. Does anyone else have anything that they'd like to say?
I think one thing that's really, like the mention of the Civic Action Project too, that's something that we haven't started that this year yet, but as we usually start it in like May-ish. So particularly if I have groups and I can talk to Mr. Hall, Mr. Rodriguez too, if they have groups of kids that are working on this topic, we can even like get them in contact with you or you guys and particularly tell them like, you know, share this with them so that they have this background and they have Senator Lewis's information as well as a point person to reach out to and kind of offer up their support for it too, because like I said, every year it's at least been one group, if not more, so I think it might definitely come up this year too, and now we have a little bit of a place to like direct them, which will be good.
Yeah, definitely. I think that that's definitely something that we've discussed in the past too, trying to help students that want to create like a tangible change with their civic action project. So I think that that's definitely significant. Does anyone else have anything that they'd like to say? Right, so with that, do I have a motion to allow myself as chairman of the youth council to send this letter on behalf of the entire youth council to Senator Jason Lewis's office?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I second.
I'm gonna call down the roll. James,
Yay.
Nathaniel,
Yes.
myself, yes. Thomas,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
Ahmed,
Yes.
Maya,
Yes.
Juliana,
Yay.
Olivia,
Yes.
and Vanessa.
Yes.
So that passes unanimously. All right, I will be in touch with this and I'll send a digital copy out to everyone as well so they can have it. And we will probably post this on our social media as well, so that way the public can have a copy of our letter. And we'll follow up with this going forward. Yeah, thank you, everyone. So next on our agenda is a youth open mic night debrief. So the youth open mic night was held on January 31st. And it was a great night. It was, we had a positive turnout from the community. And it was a lot of fun with the people that showed up and came and had hot chocolate. And a lot of performers that came, a lot of different performers from jokes and singers, and even just general performers. And it was really great. Would anyone like to comment on what they felt with the open mic night? Yeah, Juliana?
I thought it was, I thought it was really successful, especially with like middle schoolers, and I think there were some elementary schoolers there too. The elementary schoolers and middle schoolers really gained a lot of confidence. After seeing, oh, no one's gonna boo me off the stage here. I think what we need to do is just build that confidence if we have another open mic night like this. And also really like push it out to high schoolers, because I mean, I was there and my dad forced my brother to go with me. He did not want to go, but I think he enjoyed it a little bit more than he would like to admit. And the confidence that you feel is just, it's not as much as you think. So I think we need to really get that out there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's something that I also wanted to bring up, potentially doing this again in the future. Because something that Dan McGrath and Sophia really wanted to push forward with this was kind of highlighting the ACE building and bringing the community together in that way. So I think that that's definitely something to keep in the future, to think about doing again sometime potentially in the spring or fall. So yeah, would people be in favor of that?
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to say on the open mic night? So next up on our agenda is I have an update from our previous discussion on school culture, but with specifically the school support services. So something that we took away from that discussion that we had as a whole was that people don't really know how to reach out to their school adjustment counselors or get the support that they need at school when they feel as though they need it. So Catherine and I met with the school adjustment counselors and guidance counselor, Mr. Laurie, to discuss some of the issues with school culture that we were noticing, specifically with students not feeling comfortable or not knowing how to seek support at the school. So some of our takeaways from that meeting was that we learned that guidance is actually the initiating point for starting school support at the high school. So people should meet with their guidance counselors first to address the issue. And then from there, guidance counselors would recommend further action if needed. And this could be to a more specialized school support program such as Bridge, which is academic support, or the school adjustment counselors. And this requires parental permission and a specialized and planned program. So the school adjustment counselors kind of function as, I believe that they call it a tier 3 support service at the high school. So we found that many people don't know about this system, as evidenced by our meeting where we were kind of unaware that this is the way that things go with school adjustment counselors and school support in general. And that leaves a lot of people to kind of feel stuck when they feel that they need support. And in general, people, and I think that the major takeaway from this was that people don't feel as comfortable reaching out to their guidance counselors or don't know their guidance counselors well enough to be able to think that the guidance counselors is the initiating point. So I feel like going forward, because guidance counselors do wear 3 hats and people don't realize that in general, that they're college academic, but also social emotional counselors. And going forward, things that we discussed with the adjustment counselors and Ms. Delory was that we can work together to increase the visibility of this system and work with guidance to help students create relationships with their counselor early on and understand that they can go to them if needed. And also potentially using an advisory to increase awareness could help. And then the direct next step that Catherine and I discussed would be directly talking with the Director of Guidance, Mr. Robinson, to work with the guidance counselors to kind of increase the visibility and comfort in students to reach out to their guidance counselors when they feel as though they need support preemptively. So does anyone have any comments or questions about this? So yeah, going forward, we're gonna stay in touch about this, and just great job everyone at the discussion with the talking about school culture, because that was a major takeaway from that discussion. And in all honesty, the school adjustment counselors were kind of surprised by the information and concerned that they really want to help this to make students more comfortable to seek support and understand the system at the school, so that way they don't feel stuck. So that was definitely a major takeaway. So thank you, everyone. All right, so next up is the Wakefield Culture Council grant and budget. So we covered the budget previously under my liaison update, but I'm going to pass it over to Vanessa to share some exciting news as to the Culture Council grant.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the year in the fall, Catherine and I worked together to create a proposal for a grant for a community like art project. So we applied for a mass culture grant and we actually received it. So it's very exciting. So now we have the financial funding for that project. So just as a reminder, the idea of the project is you're going to create like a community artwork tree. And so each person will like design a leaf of this tree. And so we're going to put like all the leaves together and it will create like a larger mural that can be moved from like different places around the town. So it could be in the library or in like town hall, like different places like that. So we're going to partner with the senior center so that seniors and like students can do it, but really anyone in the town is welcome to participate.
Yeah, thank you. So do we know, discuss the timeline for the project or when we are thinking about?
We
getting set
haven't
up?
yet. I'm assuming like sometime later in like the spring.
Yeah.
But we'll probably start planning more in depth soon.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for all your hard work with that, because that was
Yeah.
definitely very exciting news for us to have this event with the senior center and the youth of this town. So,
Yeah, I'll definitely follow up with Catherine soon.
thank you. Oh, yeah.
How are you planning on getting the word out to Wakefield citizens about that?
Well, we're partnered with like the senior center, Karen Burke, who's the director. So she's already involved with this. So I'm sure we'll have a meeting with her and then we'll post it on social media.
We can probably also involve the schools in promoting this through our various networks to get it out to all the schools in town to
Yeah.
invite students to come.
We might be able to put it in the paper too. And I know the senior center also has like a newsletter that they send out, so we could put it in there too.
Does anyone else have any other questions as to this? So next up is the communications and outreach subcommittee update. So unfortunately, Madeline could not be here today, but I do have a brief update as to the mid-year news release that we're doing, a press release that we're doing. So Vanessa is taking the lead on that, and hopefully we're going to have that in the next couple of weeks to send out as part of like the mid-year update for everything that we've been doing since the start of our term. And also our social media has been continued to do very well with our various outreach aspects as well. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to say as to communications and outreach? So next up is a Snow Angels program update. Juliana, do you have any updates from Snow Angels? I know that there hasn't been a recent snowstorm.
Yeah, unfortunately, there hasn't been sufficient snow to need snow angels, but I think the program ran 2 or 3 times this year so far, and I think we had pretty good coverage. I know there's probably 2 or 3 houses that people are just branching out and covering, like picking up, because there's no one that's specifically assigned to those houses. But other than that, I think it's been a real success this year, and people are very happy to have helping hands.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's great to hear. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions about Snow Angels?
I think there's a hand raised on that.
Oh, yeah,
Hi, I just wanted to say, I don't know whether you've seen the winter newsletter that came out, I believe, yesterday from the town, but it features the Snow Angels. It's a very nice write-up, so great job to everybody.
yeah.
And I love,
yeah.
Juliana, that you say unfortunately, because at town council, we're always happy from a budget standpoint when there's not much snow. So just depends how you view snow, I guess, but thank you all. It's been a great program, and take a look at that newsletter.
And I can send that out to everyone too. I know Vanessa shared it with me. Definitely a very nice write-up. Yeah. And yeah, and thank you to everyone who's volunteered and made this possible. So it's definitely a major help for our town. So next up is announcements. So are there any general announcements that anyone would like to share? And Julie, are there any other updates from town council since the last time we spoke?
I don't think so. We're mostly in budget period, and I just looked, and the town council budget is not up probably for another couple of weeks, so I will keep you apprised of that. We do expect the bike ped plan that you referred to earlier to come back in front of us on February 26th for additional discussion. And town meeting, for those of you who are 18, or if you're under 18, you're welcome to come and observe, and you can speak just with special permission from the moderator. That is likely going to be April 29th in the evening. And we have we have a big issue. The state is requiring some certain zoning around public transportation, and so we'll be presenting the zone, some new zoning rules that allow for multifamily housing around the train station. So that will be a big topic that you'll probably kind of see written up over the next couple of weeks leading up to April 29th. That's
Yeah,
it.
thank you for sharing that with us.
Sure.
And yeah, and we'll definitely keep all our members posted as to the open town meeting and the bike ped plan. I know Juliana, at a couple meetings ago, you discussed that, and I believe that it was pushed back from that meeting. So would you like youth council members to come and speak in favor of that again for that meeting?
I'll probably have to speak with people on Safe Streets working group, but it'd probably be a really big help. Julia and I can email back and forth. I can ask John personally about it too.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, thank you. Are there any other announcements that anyone would like to share?
I do know, I had emailed with you. I know at the previous meeting, we had discussed the school culture survey that we wanted to push out at the Galvin. So Catherine had actually, I think you were on that email
Yeah.
too, had found a assessment that DESE, the State Department of Education, has created for school culture. That's, I think, kind of lumped in like with the MCAS. And she sent that to us as that's a assessment that's used to secure some grants. I can't remember which ones off the top of my head, but what I had done was I had took that and put it into a Google form. And with the positive school culture team at the Galvin, we decided that we're going to send it out to 6th, 7th, and 8th graders at the Galvin. So I'm just working with administrators right now to lock in date, time to get it sent out. But my hope is to get it sent out ASAP so that teachers have a professional development day on March
I believe, yeah.
5th, thank you. And it's a full day off for you guys and it's a full professional development day for us. So I tentatively signed up to lead a session during that time where ideally I'll be able to share out some of those results. So as that gets closer, it would be great if anyone even wanted to join me. I know it's a day off, but I pizza or donuts or something. I just think it'd be nice for educators to, aside from just, looking at the results of the survey, to have a little bit more like direct feedback and direct thoughts. I did take the survey itself was like a bunch of statements and you had to say like mostly true, always true, mostly untrue, or always untrue or something like that. And then I did add a couple of open-ended questions that I got from the brainstorming document that you guys had all come up with. So I will update more on that as we get everything locked in, but that's kind of where we're at with that plan.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you to you and the Positive School Culture team for the hard work on that too. And we'll be in touch with everyone in case anyone wants to come to that meeting on March 5th and kind of help Mr. Collins with the sharing of the results and the discussion. So I do have an announcement, just a general one. In January, Vanessa, Thomas, and I, and Catherine, we met with the Malden Youth Council at the Malden High School, and we kind of shared our ethic and our structure with them and kind of any advice that they wanted, because they are trying to set up a youth council there, and they've been working at that for quite some time now. And with the new town council there, they're hoping to have that enacted, and they wanted some advice from us as to how we structure and our liaison programs as well. And it was a very insightful meeting, and they very much appreciated it. So it's definitely great to see the youth council kind of being a role model for other towns as they hope to create youth councils as well. So yeah. All right, so if there's nothing else from announcements, our next meeting date, so there are no half days in March. And the next half day is April 3rd, which is junior prom. So I know many of us are not going to be able to attend that day. So our next meeting will likely be virtual or in person hybrid at WCAT in the evening. So we're gonna send out a doodle poll probably to find out when our meeting date in March will be. And then we'll decide then whether or not we're going to be able to have it totally virtual or hybrid. Does everyone agree with that? All right, so if there are no other business that we haven't discussed, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
A second.
I'm gonna call down the roll. James?
Yeah.
Nathaniel?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Thomas?
Yes.
William?
Yes.
Ahmed?
Yeah.
Maya?
Yes.
Juliana?
Yay.
Olivia?
Yes.
And Vanessa?
Yes.
All right, thank you, everyone. The meeting has adjourned unanimously, and we'll be in touch soon regarding everything that we discussed today. Thank you.
Thank you.